He's Mr. Sun. He's Mr. Heat Mister. He's Mr. 101. They call him Heat Miser. Whatever he touch melts within his clutch. All right. I apologize for the delay. We're looking at the sun here in 304 angstroms. It's the past 8 hours or so on today, the first day of winter. So yesterday was the darkest day of the year, folks. Now the sun's rays are going to be returning to the north and straying farther from the south. No sunspots located on the sun today. Some filaments. Here's the northern region. Here's the south. A little bit of magnetic activity there, but nothing resembling a sunspot. No super distinct coronal holes. And we've got a little trouble loading stuff from the SDO today, so we're going to look at HelioViewer real quick. Here's the Earth scale, by the way. And I'm just going to fade out into 171 angstroms there. A little bit of magnetic activity, as we said. Located right near the equator there. Nothing super exciting. There's a little zoom in of those areas. I apologize for any lost frames, folks. We are working on all that, and we have an intentional delay set up as part of that strategy. We're going to look at cosmic rays, as we haven't done so for a few days. And there is the Apatity and Barentsburg neutron monitors. And they're both pretty flat in the past 30 days. Nothing to really write home about there. Let's go to Athens, Greece. Wanted a much closer to the equatorial latitude there. Barentsburg and Apatity much closer to the poles. And there's the Athens neutron monitor. Also fairly flat over the past 30. Next we'll look at Mexico City. Nothing to write home about at Mexico City. Moscow. Back to returning data, and for that, we thank you. Usually wilder swings there, but it's in a tighter range recently. Still flat over the past 30 days. And finally, we'll look at Oulu, Finland, as well as DOMC and DOMB Antarctica, which has not been returning data. There's DOMC, a bunch of missing data there, and there's DOMB, a lot of missing data there. And we always leave links to the Network of Cosmic Ray Station site. And we're looking at them because the KP index is at 0. So there's the KP index 0 for the last 3 hours. Real-time solar wind showing a phi angle at a very low 90 degrees there. Solar wind density 5.4, just a recent little kick up there. It went all the way down to around 3 protons per cubic centimeter, now up to 5.5 or so. Solar wind speed's been ramping down over the past 24 to 353 kilometers a second. If you watched yesterday's video, we did show you the 7-day, and then the real-time solar wind bound up the system. 10.7 centimeter radio fluxes at 71, and there's the solar wind data from ACE. Nothing to write home about there. X-ray flux still not exceeding a B level on either of the GOES 15 or 16 sensors. Electron flux has ramped up as we forecasted, although not to very high levels there, and it looks like it's already ramping back down a bit, perhaps. Something to keep an eye on there. Electron flux. Relativistic electrons have not yet peaked according to the Solon.info data. Countdown to the solstice. It is negative 4 hours and 14 minutes until the solstice. That's right, negative 4 hours and 14 minutes. You'll have to go back in time to experience it again. And if you view the Twitch channel, we actually did stream live during it, believe it or not. Let's move on to the the ionosphere movies. Looking at 6 hours of the ionosphere here, complete with time and date stamps, and we continue to see nighttime charge-up anomalies over the South Pacific. I'll let that play through one more time. Current time is 3:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you see that those charged up areas over there around the equator over the South Pacific at nighttime. And we do see magnetospheric anomalies also. We'll get to it in a minute. First, the magnetometer. There's the GOES magnetometer readings. And welcome to the South Pole oriented portion of the current sheet. There it is on the Gong 2 data. And you can see the Earth's field line solidly in the South Pole field, and it's a pretty smooth field right now. So you see there's not a lot of plasma disparity as there is in the North field. That gave us a lot of the choppy magnetometer readings. And the sudden switchover. Anyway, there's the last frame, and expecting that to remain fairly smooth and fairly close to that range, barring some unforeseen magnetic event. Next, we'll look at the geospace magnetosphere movies. Here's the pressure, and thanks for tuning in, Sparsons127. Oh yeah. Make sure you set up an account on every machine. Vote early and vote often for smAsho Mash. Anyway, there's the last 4 hours of that. Steady as she goes there. Unlike in the magnetosphere, where we see big pulses coming out of the Pacific Ocean. We're talking about ground magnetic perturbations now, folks. And you'll see toward the end of the video, you're going to see the South Pole creeping into the Southern Indian Ocean, and you'll see the pulses just coming out of the South Pacific. Right over here. Really the Central Pacific, I guess you could say. And I'm having chest pains. Oh, I'm having chest pains, folks. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'm having chest pains. Oh. Just kidding, folks. They're not heart attack chest pains. It's just from pumping a little iron yesterday. Next, we'll look at 24 hours of earthquakes. And Liberty Maverick, space. I'm not sure if space exists. I don't think space is fake. Space is fake, Liberty Maverick. That's what's up. All right, let's look at 24 hours of earthquakes, as a lot of people think earthquakes are real, so let's talk about it. We see some activity, and it looks magmatic in nature at Hawaii, by the way. And so no quakes over a 6 magnitude here over the past 24, it looks like. Just going to scroll up the list. Scrolling, just scrolling. If none happened in Pennsylvania, I'm located in Lehigh Valley, by the way. Just going to scrolling. All right, there's one at 1,100 meters above sea level at Hawaii. Obvious magmatic activity, probably associated with Mauna Loa. Let's have a look. Is it right under Mauna Loa once again? Indeed it is, folks. It's a little bit of magmatic activity there. Now, keep in mind, the land is about 9,700 feet high there. That one did occur at 1,100 meters above sea level. So that's about 3,600 feet. So well above sea level there, folks, in the magma chambers of Mauna Loa. and it has been added to the volcano watch list, whatever you call it, as there is some ground swelling and stuff going on at Mauna Loa, believe it or not. 5.0 strikes Alaska. Please leave a comment if you felt that quake. Here's a deep one at Alaska, only a 2.8 magnitude. So kind of a lull in earthquakes, folks. We saw a spout of deep earthquakes the last couple of days. A whole ton of deep earthquakes. There's a deep one in Afghanistan. And the 6 magnitude that we saw there was at, what, 200 and some kilometers depth? And there's one coming in just as we did show prep. Actually, that one's even higher than the last one. Check it out. That one just came in as we did show prep. 1,700 meters above sea level, directly underneath the Mauna Loa caldera. How you like that? There it is. There it is, folks. Main caldera, pretty much right underneath the cone of the mountain. And that's what happens when you do live streams. Liberty Maverick stating that the earthquakes are triggered by HAARP. Please show us the basis for Hawaii. We just showed you how it comes out of the ionosphere, but okay, perhaps rewatch the video or yesterday's video. All right, cheers. So it looks like we just see a lot of small quakes, folks. Again, nothing over a 6. Let's play some music to soothe the savage conspiracy theorist. How about something relaxing? Let's look at the pressure maps on windy.com, shall we? All right, so here's where things are located, pressure-wise. And let's just let that advance. This is the GFS forecast. High pressure ruling most of the eastern U.S. In fact, most of the U.S. period. You see all that high pressure noted there. Except the area over southern Alaska, the Bering Sea and so on. Super low pressure, and it's stagnating, folks. Yeah, there's tons of HAARP bases on Hawaii. There's tons of HAARP bases on Hawaii, and they're totally able to generate enough energy to create earthquakes underneath 6,000 feet of solid rock underneath Mauna Loa. That's totally a thing, dude. Cheers. Good luck with that. And let's move on to the volcano rundown. Let's see if Mauna Loa is on the list as it was a couple of days ago. First, we see Kluchevskoy with a 20,000 foot ash plume. So that's kind of a small uptick there at Kluchevskoy. Shivaluch, 12,000 foot ash plume there as it explodes. 7,000 foot flight level at Abiko, Mount Aso. Possible activity continuing there. Probably not visible on the satellite. Sakurajima exploded. Dacono, flight level 7,000, and Revenador. Please don't pole vault Revenador as it explodes and produces a 19,000 foot ash plume. Anyway, here's a value-added service in the form of the U.S. Doppler radar map. Nothing too crazy going on. Not a lot of lightning. If you want to know where it is, check out the real-time lightning maps at lightningmaps.org. The next time you hear thunder, don't blunder. claim that it was generated by a radio tower or a Doppler radar array, because that's a silly idea, although it can mess up with the atmosphere. Lightningmaps.org. And here's the water vapor map. And like I said, dry air dominating the U.S. We have a weird dry air cell that's rotating counterclockwise for some reason. It's very strange. This area right here over Louisiana, we're going to zoom in on it. Hey, welcome to space. All your weather comes from space. I'm going to read all the comments, no matter how ridiculously silly they are. All right, let's zoom in on this area here as it's looking like energy from space. It's a very oddly rotating dry air cell. Usually these rotate clockwise. This one's rotating counterclockwise. And it's because of just a little moisture in this area. Anyway, that's your official weather porn for the day. And just so you know that I'm reading the comments, here they are on the screen. I'll scroll through them. Just so if you're viewing this later, you can view them without my having to read them to you, because certain things are too silly to be read. And for some reason, I don't see them. The hell? I guess I've only joined my own chat like recently, so. By the way, please support the channel via Patreon, as it's the real source of financial support for the channel. And thanks Smash Team, as we end up in even more segments. We'll eventually get to cosmology, but first, we're going to talk about the distinction between your ass and a hole in the ground, where we talk about literally anything we want. Whether or not space is fake and all kinds of stuff like that. Alternative social media, that's one of the things to talk about. How about BitChute? Please support it by uploading your content to it, in the possibility that your YouTube channel suddenly gets deleted, or if any servers suddenly experience a loss of coherence. You never know when that'll happen, folks. So do what you can to support all kinds of different platforms. Now, Facebook, of course, not our favorite, although we do use it to post certain stuff such as screenshots. And I think there's some memes to be created from the comment section of this Twitch chat. So that'll be, I think that'll be fun. Let's talk about the way crypto's gotten beaten up, just in case you haven't watched our most recent videos. Ethereum beaten up. There's the one-year chart of Ethereum as reported by Coinbase. And let's take a look at Bitcoin as reported by Coinbase. And the reason I say that is because the volume numbers vary wildly from exchange to exchange. There's the 1 year of Bitcoin also beaten up. Not quite as badly as Ethereum, though. And of course, Ethereum is much less expensive per coin, making it a much better purchase, in my opinion. But hey, I'm not licensed to give crypto advice, and I don't think anybody is. Also, I would note silver. There's silver. I would also note that during the last financial crisis, silver did hit about 50 bucks an ounce. We were recommending that our viewers purchase this unofficially for novelty purposes only when it was 14 bucks an ounce. In any case, keep an eye on silver and commodities and other things while stocks are utterly overly inflated. And let's just bring up the S&P 500, since it explains most of what's in people's 401ks unless you have custom investments. And there's the S&P 500. And I have zero confidence in that trend continuing. critique as you may. And welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. So check out smashomash.org. As we critique social media in the middle of doing astrophysics, since it interferes with the consolidation of unified theory. Now, we're also on Facebook. Although not a huge fan, we are a client. Not a paying client, though, as the software is like wading through a swamp. A swampy swamp of spyware. A spyware swamp. We're also on minds.com/smashomash. The open source social media that won't censor and shadow ban you. You know that one, minds.com. So if you enjoy the content, please press like and subscribe on YouTube. Here are some references. You want some killer Christmas music? Now, I'm into female vocalists. So I would recommend female Christmas music. Here's some more recommendations for you. Jewel. I can't believe Jewel has only 61,000 subscribers. What's up with that? Jewel, you know, the U.S. folk singer-songwriter. Anyway, here's a clip. Perhaps check that out. There's a whole playlist on YouTube. And also, what about The Carpenters' Christmas Portrait, which has been re-released, I guess. Karen Carpenter, one of the best vocalists of all time. So perhaps check that out also. And then, hey, when you get bored with that, go look at transients such as Sagittarius A star. There's what's been going on there, and it looks like there's some missing data, folks. Oh my gosh, it must be HAARP. Maybe it must be HAARP. HAARP is covering up the cosmic ray flux and the magnetometers, even though they release all kinds of data. Oh my gosh, it's HAARP. HAARP is shutting down the world. It's the extinction agenda, folks. I got to get out of here. I got to run for my life before HAARP 5G. And what was the other thing? Whatever the other thing was. Before I just become roasted and toasted. Oh my gosh. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to steel myself and try to finish the stream. If you want to follow transients yourself, check out the Swift Bat X-ray Observatory. And don't be horrified. Your brain may not turn to mush while reading the comments. I mean, while being irradiated by all of this human technology. Anyway, here's where planets are. It's getting kind of lonely on this side of the solar system, as there's only one planet over here. And there's where things will be in 1 week. Here's where stuff is above my head. Now, I'm located in eastern Pennsylvania. And I know we've got tons of new viewers and people that have never seen our shows before. So I don't blame you for your utter confusion. Anyway, here's where things are above my head in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And if you want to make your own, check out in-the-sky.org. You'll see the moon and Mars, and you'll be able to animate it, and you'll see when Mercury and Saturn and Venus are all going to rise and pile up in the sky and cause your HAARP to be shut down entirely. Now, are you familiar with Krampus? Krampus is some sort of like European anthropomorphic demonic entity who punishes children at Christmas time. Here's my Christmas movie pick for the horror genre, as now Christmas horror is a genre. So I would check out Krampus the Reckoning. In fact, we're going to rewatch it. We watched it a couple of years ago. I think it's a well-done portrayal. So check it out. I won't tarry on this subject much longer. I will entice people to say stupid things in the chat, though. I'm not going to talk about Gaminga either, but if you'd like to hear about Gaminga, watch our videos of the past couple of days as we've got to that feature Gaminga. And welcome to space, and indeed the Neo-Renaissance. while astrophysics and science get rewritten. And let's see here now. Let's read the comments on Twitch, as they are so poignant to reality in so many ways. All right. Anyway, do you notice any similarities? I was wondering. I guess we will talk about Geminga. So there's the Geminga pulsar. It's way out on the arm opposite the Cygnus arm. It's way out on the opposite side, toward the opposite side of the Milky Way. And the artist rendition is actually kind of useful here, in that it looks like it has a bow shock, kind of like something a little closer to home. You know, the Earth's magnetosphere, that sort of thing there, that sort of thing. You know what I mean there? You know what I mean, Governor? That sort of thing. Does it look a little similar, doesn't it? Almost like people are wondering where it's generating its magnetic field from, aren't they? Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Don't forget to stay tuned for a bonus feature. And thanks for Smash Team. Don't forget to press like and subscribe. Here's a colorized magnetogram in very high res. And we'll give you a quick image of this, so you know where to look for sunspots, even though there aren't yet any. And do I have an opinion on, anybody got an opinion on which 48-hour view to show? We'll go to 335 angstroms, I guess, or 131 angstroms rather. And we're hoping it loads. Is it going to load? Yeah, nice. There you go. There's the last 48 hours of solar activity on your local yellow dwarf. And we'll let that play through a few times. We'll try to let science sink in for a few decades, I guess. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Happy solstice. Happy winter. Don't forget to stare at the sun, and when you do so, don't drink, and if you drink, don't drive. Seriously, don't drive. It's statistically unhealthful. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back, and that atherosclerosis absent from your veins.